I wasn't looking for trouble. Just a job. It was the winter of 1988. My husband had just passed away from lung cancer, and I was 50 years old with nothing but bills and a broken heart. My daughter had moved out. I lived alone in a small apartment and spent most of my days staring at the wall, listening to the hum of silence. Then I saw a notice on a corkboard at the community center. Receptionist needed, full-time. Must be punctual, friendly, and efficient. Apply in person. It was a small construction firm, run by a man named Frank Millard. He was in his late 40s, charming in that way that made you feel like maybe the world was still kind. I wore my nicest sweater, brushed my hair, and practiced my smile in the mirror. I didn't know that walking into that office would change my life forever. Frank hired me on the spot. "People like you," he said. "You remind me of my mom." At first, it felt good to be needed again. I answered phones, filed contracts, made coffee for the crew. The guys, four in particular, always joked too much, but I laughed it off. I told myself I was overthinking it. I'd grown up in a different time, after all. We were told to let the boys be boys. But something was off. The way they looked at me. The way they stood too close. Frank's compliments got weird. "Women your age don't usually look this good. I bet your husband couldn't keep his hands off you." I'd chuckle nervously. Try to redirect. I should have run. It was a Friday. Frank called me into his office at 6 p.m. Everyone else had left. Or so I thought. He offered me a glass of wine. I refused. He insisted. I drank one sip and felt dizzy almost instantly. My knees buckled. I remember falling into the chair, then onto the floor. My vision blurred. Then the door opened. And the other four came in: Joe, Alan, Rick, and Mike. I knew all their names. I'd made them coffee, laughed at their jokes. And then, I wish I could say I blacked out. I didn't. I remember everything. Their laughter. Their hands. The sound of my blouse tearing. The smell of sweat and dust and bourbon. The pain. The humiliation. The helplessness. And when it was over, Frank leaned over me and whispered, "You tell anyone, and we'll make sure no one believes a bitter old woman like you." Then he spit beside my face and left me on the floor like trash. I woke up in my apartment, not even sure how I got home. My body ached in places I can't describe. My voice was hoarse from crying. I stood in the shower for over an hour, scrubbing my skin until it turned raw. I didn't go to the police. Not that day. I was ashamed. I was terrified. I was 50, not young, not strong, not believed. Who would believe that 5 grown men, respected businessmen, would do this to someone like me? I spent the next week curled on the couch, staring at the ceiling, barely eating. And then, something in me snapped. I didn't want to be a victim. Not anymore. I didn't want to be a statistic or a name no one remembered. I wanted them to pay. And I wanted the world to see it happen. So I started with a journal. I wrote down everything I remembered, in detail. The clothes they wore. What they said. The names. The layout of the room. Then I went to the hospital. It was humiliating, yes, but necessary. I told the doctor it had happened a few days ago, and I asked for a full examination. The nurse didn't judge me. She just held my hand when I cried. That was the first time I felt like maybe I wasn't crazy. I walked into the police station with my journal, the hospital report, and shaking hands. The officer listened. But I saw it, the doubt in his eyes. The shrug in his questions. Why did you wait? Were you drinking? Are you sure it wasn't consensual, and you just regret it? I almost laughed. But then I looked down at my hands, the same hands that held my daughter when she cried. The same hands that fed a husband dying of cancer. No. I wasn't walking away this time. I told him everything. They opened an investigation, reluctantly. It didn't take long for the case to fall apart. The men all denied it. Said I was mentally unstable. Claimed I'd made advances and got angry when they rejected me. They lawyered up with high-priced attorneys. No charges were filed. I got a letter in the mail. Due to insufficient evidence, the case has been closed. I screamed when I read it. I ripped it into pieces and burned it in the sink. I knew what I had to do. If the law wouldn't punish them, I would. I spent months studying everything I could about them. Frank's finances. Joe's gambling habit. Alan's cheating scandal. Rick's DUI. Mike's daughter, a college student, studying journalism. One by one, I gathered information. Built files. Took photos. Recorded phone calls. I even posed as a temp secretary to get access to their office once. I had time. Patience. And fury. Then I made my plan. Expose them. Crush their reputations. Ruin their lives. And do it in public. I started with Alan. I had learned he was cheating on his wife with a much younger woman, a secretary at a different branch. I found the girl on social media. She was 23, sweet, and naive. I didn't blame her. I created a fake profile. Posed as a woman who had been cheated on before. Befriended her. It took 2 weeks before she opened up. He'd promised her marriage. Said his wife was crazy. Typical lies. I printed screenshots. Photos of them together. Conversations with timestamps. I mailed them, anonymously, to his wife, his church, and his boss. By Monday morning, his life was in flames. Wife filed for divorce. His church community turned its back. He was suspended from work pending investigation. One down. Mike's daughter, Tasha, was in her final year of journalism school. I had found her by accident, an Instagram post of her internship at a local paper. I didn't plan to involve her. But something about the universe made it feel right. I mailed her an envelope. No name. No return address. Inside, my police report. Hospital documents. A copy of the journal I'd written after the assault. And a simple note. Your father is not the man you think he is. 3 weeks passed. I thought maybe she threw it away. Then I got an email, from a private account. Subject, I believe you. Body, I want to help. Let's meet. Tasha and I met in a coffee shop, both of us shaking. She said she'd suspected something was off for years, that her father had a temper, a darkness. She hated him, but didn't have proof. I gave her proof. She asked if I'd go on the record. I said yes. I had nothing left to lose. Her article was published 6 weeks later. The hidden abuse behind Millard contracting, one woman's story of power, assault, and silence. It blew up. Overnight, my face, aged and tired, but defiant, was on every local feed. My voice, trembled but steady, was being quoted. Some people called me brave. Others called me a liar. But the story couldn't be buried anymore. With new public interest and Tasha's evidence, the DA reopened the case. I remember walking back into that cold courtroom. I wasn't scared this time. I was ready. Frank sat across from me, smug, flanked by lawyers. But this time I had witnesses. Other women came forward. 2 former employees said they'd been harassed. One said Frank had groped her. Another had been paid to keep quiet. The tide had shifted. I took the stand and told the truth. Every word. Every detail. No shame this time. Just fire. The trial dragged on for months. Frank's team did everything to discredit me. Dug into my past. Said I was unstable, broke, vindictive. But their tricks didn't work this time. In the end, the jury believed me. Frank was sentenced to 18 years. Joe got 12. Rick and Mike took plea deals, 10 and 7 years, respectively. Alan never went to prison. But he lost everything. Wife, job, house. They didn't just face legal justice. They faced me. I thought justice would feel like peace. But it didn't, not right away. I still had nightmares. Still woke up crying. Still flinched when I heard loud voices. But I wasn't powerless anymore. Strangers reached out to me. Survivors. Mothers. Grandmothers. Even men who said, "Thank you. You made me brave." I began speaking at shelters. Volunteering at support groups. My story, the one I had once buried in shame, became my sword. Years passed. I'm 71 now. My hair's silver. My hands shake when I write. But my heart? It's never been stronger. Lately, I've been helping Tasha turn our story into a book. She calls me Grandma Joan, though I'm not really her grandma. Feels like family, though. She's dedicating the first chapter to me. She says, "You taught me that justice isn't something we wait for. It's something we demand." And I think, maybe that's my legacy. Not what they did to me, but what I did back. If you're reading this, and you've been hurt like I was, I need you to know something. It wasn't your fault. They were wrong. Every single one of them. Your pain is real. Your story matters. You don't have to stay silent. You don't have to carry the shame. You can fight back, in your way, in your time. And if the world tells you you're too old, too weak, too late, you look them dead in the eye and say, "Watch me." Thanks for listening. Like this video if you find it inspirational and subscribe for more.